So I believe that Abraham Lincoln should be remembered as a hero who fought against slavery, and not only as a hero, but also a great president who achieved his political goals. So first off, Abraham Lincoln created the Emancipation Proclamation, which basically was a document that freed the slaves from slavery in the South. And the reason why I say that Abraham Lincoln also was a hero for like political reasons is because not only did Abraham Lincoln free the slaves, he also managed to maintain the Union. Even though through the midst of the war it seemed like the North and the South were going to fall apart, he still managed to maintain the United States together in one piece, and he basically fixed things.
In my view, Abraham Lincoln only did this to achieve his political goals. He only wrote that Emancipation Proclamation to help the war effort against the South, since the South was using their slaves in the war effort in their armories and in their hospitals to help their troops. He decided to free all slaves and to move them over to the North.
So you might say that Abraham Lincoln only was trying to achieve his political goals by by freeing the slaves, which basically meant that the South would have less like power through the war, and they wouldn't have the advantage. But Abraham Lincoln not only freed the slaves, and it might be because of this reason, but he also preserved the Union. So all in all, it doesn't matter what his reasoning was, he still achieved freeing the slaves, and he managed to keep the United States together.
Even though you say he did manage to free the slaves, even though when he did free the slaves, he still followed the laws by which slaves were not allowed to join the army or help the war effort, that they were not considered citizens yet. So therefore, he didn't do it to help them, but just to help himself. He may have saved the Union, but the country was still split in half by two different sides of the war. The South still wanted their slaves, but since that the North won, the North got their way, and the slave was abolished.
So although you say that Lincoln only created the Emancipation Proclamation as like a benefit to help himself because he thought he was losing the war, in the document, the background on the Emancipation Proclamation, it says that by 1862, Lincoln was considering emancipation as a necessary step towards winning the war, which you are right in. He's creating it as a step towards winning the war, but the South was using enslaved people to aid the war effort. So in a way, Lincoln also, like by making the Emancipation Proclamation, he helped himself, and he also, on the side note, he also freed all the slaves. So it's still a good thing that he did.
Even though I still believe what I said, and that he only did what he did to achieve his political goals, I see why you think that he is a hero in everything that he did to help the slaves.
I'm glad that I was able to change your views on, like, your view of Lincoln, and how before you didn't really consider him a hero, but now you understand that even though he might have like done these things to help win the war and achieve his political goals, like on the side he still freed the slaves, which considers, even if he didn't mean to do it, it's still a good thing that happened.